So the net effect is that if you have these constant tariff increases, is that the cost of the power factor correction equipment doesn't increase at the same pace as the tariffs themselves. So what the net effect of that is that the payback period of a power factor correction system actually reduces year on year, because the savings increase faster than the cost increases of that type of equipment. So, hi, I'm Eric from Alpha Power Solutions, and today I want to elaborate a little bit more about the municipal tariff increases that came into effect on the 1st of July in South Africa. The one thing that's for sure is that the tariff increases of the municipalities will come or have come into effect on the 1st of July. The new tariffs are not easily found. I spent quite a bit of time yesterday researching on the internet what truthful information is available. It looks to me that a lot of the municipalities, just like in previous years, are still struggling to finalize their tariffs. Obviously, they'll have to finalize them before the billing cycle starts. So I would say in the next 10 days, they have no choice but to implement those tariffs so that the bills can go out on time. Whether then, once they finalize the tariffs, how they will disseminate that information, that is usually the other issue, is that it gets posted very late on the individual municipal websites, if at all. So it's often a question of going through the more recent bills, so the bills customers are going to get in August for the July period, and then analyzing what has really transpired in terms of the increases. There's one exception to the rule, as usual, Cape Town. So they published their official tariffs on the 1st of July, admittedly a bit late, but I think they spent quite a bit of time to optimize the tariffs to make it more fair, and that they worked closely with Eskom to adjust the tariffs to be more cost reflective. So it is a rather complex analysis that's required, because some sub-tariffs, so within each tariff you have subheadings. Some of these have increased by 425%, but others have come down by 56%. It would appear that the overall increase, or the average increase, will be around 9.88%. It's difficult to see how that works exactly, because, if an item, costs a specific sub-tariff is costed at 3 Rand a unit, and you increase it by 400%, and it ends up being 13 Rand a unit, but you only use a few of them, so it doesn't really have a major impact on the overall cost. So it's a rather complex analysis that you have to carry out to calculate these impacts. I think they will probably publish some sort of a tool, just like Eskom has done. Eskom has disseminated free of charge a whole spreadsheet system where you can actually input your data and see what the true implications are for your business. Lastly, again, still staying on Cape Town, there will be differences in tariff increases between residential, commercial, and industrial users, as well as the size of these businesses. It's not straightforward. You can't just say, well, my bill used to be 100,000 Rand a month. The increase was 10%, so now I expect a bill of 110,000. It actually is not the way that's going to be. So, but it's clearly structured with them, and it's going to roll out, and I don't think there's going to be any issues in Cape Town. City Power, it looks like there will be an increase of approximately 12%. But it's also like Cape Town, where there is different increases for different sub-tariffs. But it doesn't appear that they have officially published these. There's some documents floating around, but I am not 100% sure that these will be the final figures. Ekurhuleni, again, they also have some fluctuations. It appears to be between 11.3% and 22%, depending on the sub-tariffs, but it's not confirmed yet. And even in the document that they published, they said that it's waiting final approval. So there is no 100% clarity of how this is all going to affect residential and commercial industrial users. I think from August onwards, there will be more clarity, but it's going to be quite a mission, because the official data for most municipalities will not be published yet. So it's going to be analyzing, the bills that our clients get. The municipalities, like I said before, will have to finalize their tariffs before the billing period or the billing cycle starts. If the bills then eventually will come in August for the month of July, if these increases are going to be higher than what was initially budgeted by these businesses, it could affect their viability and their profitability, especially for businesses where electricity costs represent, or sit in the top 5 of their operating expenses. And there's a lot of businesses like that. So by not knowing the increases well in advance, businesses are unable to take necessary steps to mitigate this impact, of these massive increases. So the measure that they could implement is moving production out of peak times, installing solar systems, installing new power factor correction systems, or repairing existing units, applying for a different tariff. Sometimes businesses can apply for different tariffs that are in their advantage. It's complicated to get implemented, but it can be done. There's a number of things that can be implemented to reduce the blow of these increases, which is, typically is going to be around 2 to 3 times the official CPI. And it's not going to stop there. Next year, we're going to sit in the same boat. But we don't really have an idea of what these increases will be next year. There is some speculation as to what Eskom's tariff increase will be in April 2026, but I think this is all subject to review. So, as these electricity costs spiral out of control, businesses have to do something about it. They cannot ignore it because they will not always be able to pass on these increases onto their consumers, their customers. And their competitive edge will also be eroded because if a competitor of a specific business is able to reduce its energy consumption to create a particular unit that is being sold, their electricity cost component of that item is lower because of them being able to reduce the power usage per unit produced. It can really affect the competitiveness of a business that has done nothing about reducing or improving the energy efficiency. Right. Well, most businesses that are on a maximum demand tariff will benefit significantly from an investment in power factor correction equipment, regardless of the increases coming through. Before the increases, our typical customers have an investment payback period for the installation of new power factor correction equipment of approximately 12 months. So within 12 months, the savings that will be achieved pay off for the investment. So the net effect is that if you have these constant tariff increases, is that the cost of the power factor correction equipment doesn't increase at the same pace as the tariffs themselves. So what the net effect of that is that the payback period of a power factor correction system actually reduces year on year because the savings increase faster than the cost increases of that type of equipment. And also, if a customer has got an existing power factor correction system that needs some repairs, so these types of repair costs have an extremely short investment payback period, if you could call it investment. It's basically, a matter of whatever money you spend on repairing your power factor correction equipment. Savings typically result in within a month or two, you have your money recouped, in terms of additional savings. One of our key customers or customer segment is actually customers that have already existing power factor correction equipment, because we can have such a major impact for relatively low cost. It makes it for very easy sales. It's easy to justify to the customers to do that investment to repair the equipment they already have on site and for which they've done the investment many years ago. Right. So in May this year, we installed a new large power factor correction system at a flour mill in the Gauteng region. At the time of the costing or the research into the needs of the customer, we estimated that the investment payback period was going to be approximately 11.2 months. The customer accepted our offer, we installed the equipment, and then the subsequent month, they saw a reduction in the electricity bill or in maximum demand charge of not just what we predicted, but even more, resulting in the investment payback period dropping to 10.9 months. Now, assuming that the tariff increase is effective 1st of July is 12%. This will result in that particular customer reducing its investment payback period to 9.6 months. So from originally predicting 11.2 months, it's now 9.6 months. That makes a huge difference over the life cycle of this type of equipment. So as I explained before, as tariffs increase, electricity tariffs increase, the savings to be achieved also increase, but they increase faster than what the cost of the equipment is needed, the power factor correction that is needed in the power factor. Well, it's never too late for businesses to implement measures to improve the power factor of their installation. Or it's installing new equipment or repairing the equipment that they already have. These by improving your power factor, you reduce your maximum demand charges, your network access charges, reactive power consumption charges, wherever these specific sub-tariffs are applicable. So obviously, the sooner the businesses take corrective action, the bigger of an impact it will have on their viability or profitability, and it will also give them an edge, competitive edge on the businesses they compete against if these businesses don't do similar interventions. So power factor correction is typically low-hanging fruit when it comes to reducing electricity costs, because contrary to other interventions that can be implemented, the payback period of these investments is extremely short, and the life expectancy of the equipment with minimal maintenance is around at least 10 years. There's no reason why it can't last to 15, 20 years, but at some point, it's a bit like a car. You can keep maintaining it and make it do 2 million kilometers, but at some point it becomes too expensive to keep it running. But 10 years is the very minimum business can expect in terms of life from a good quality power factor correction system. So it's actually a no-brainer. It's just a pity that a lot of businesses are unaware that there's a saving potential, simply because they're unaware of this opportunity. In industrialized world, you would be fined if you are fined if your power factor is below a minimum standard. Clearly comes on your bill as a fine. In South Africa, you're also being fined. They make sure you don't know you're being fined. So the municipalities can't charge you more because obviously they make significant profits from the resale of electricity produced by Eskom to them, and them selling on to the end user. So it's quite unfortunate. So our task involves a lot of education, helping our customers or potential customers understand the opportunity, and it's a bit of a challenge. It makes the sales cycle a bit longer, but it needs to be done. Well, thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. There's also a blog with more info linked in the description below. Do you want to see how much you could save from a power factor correction intervention? Well, then try our free power factor correction calculator. The link is also in the description to help you figure out what the requirement investment will be and what the payback period of that investment will be.